Well, the way I see it, 21st century has nothing to offer me. It's absolute hell. Every single second is hell. Hate every second I'm awake. So if I can just avoid the 21st century, just completely get it out of the picture entirely, I'm doing a good thing.
Welcome to Brimfield, the oldest and largest outdoor antique show in the U.S. Since 1959, this iconic event has transformed a quiet New England town into a bustling marketplace, drawing in thousands of collectors, vendors, and shoppers from all over the world. With 21 fields that span over a mile, Brimfield has something for everyone. We're diving deep into the heart of the market to hear from the vendors themselves and discover the hidden gems Brimfield has to offer.
If they feed me to the door, I'll stick them on the floor. Keep that skillet good and greasy on. Keep that skillet and greasy.
This is more than just a flea market. It's a lifestyle. It's like an experience. People who come here want their ashes spread here when they die in their spots, and that's how I felt. My name is Clea Ververitas, and I'm like the CEO of Brimfield Antique Show. So we were longtime vendors on this field, so we were very familiar with it, and we loved it. So people think like they just show up to the show and it's like this, and they think like, oh, you guys only work 3 weeks a year, but that's totally not true. All year long, we're looking for vendors, we're marketing, we're talking to people. It's a lot of work, but it's great fun.
I think you mentioned to us how many times you've been vending here at the Brimfield Antique Market. Could you mind telling our audience?
120th show.
We've been doing the Brimfield Antique Show for 11 years. I live on this field for a month out of the year.
Yeah, I've been in the same field here for 9 years.
I've been selling here for like 10 years.
I've been doing this for pretty much my whole life. Do Brimfield all 3 shows every year.
I've only been selling here for 2.5 years, so this would be probably my 4th show by now.
How have things changed since your first Brimfield Antique Show that you did?
Clothing's a lot more popular, that's for sure. And there's a lot more clothing here. It's definitely kind of a clothing show at this point.
Yeah.
I think a lot of other people are starting to adapt clothing that weren't necessarily clothing sellers before, so in other ways it's just become more competitive.
Back then it used to be, you got more people who would travel to Brimfield looking for those objects like that they didn't find anywhere else that they would pay up for. Now the market's kind of changed to where it's a lot more dealers not setting up and just coming to buy for as cheap as possible to resell. You know, it's no longer the antique show, but more of like a flea market kind of thing.
It's changed. It was all night, mob to mob, and every booth you went into, you probably bought something if you had the money, because it was just so, a lot of really true antiques. Now it's turning into a lot of flea market-y stuff.
A lot of the old timers are having a little hard time
Really?
with that, you know, because they're stuck on like buying antiques, that just our generation ain't buying.
You see a lot more younger kids coming in to buy the clothing.
A lot more young people, which is good.
I'm seeing a lot of young people get involved, and that's really good. A couple years ago, we were worried that the young people weren't involved in this.
During COVID, it dropped off because there's nothing open, obviously, and then the internet game picked up. The flea market game fell off a little bit after that, I feel like, but I think it's getting back to normal now.
It created tons of new resellers, people who would have probably never picked up reselling are now doing it, and so it flooded the market for a while. I would say the first 2-3 years of COVID, the market was just way too saturated with resellers. It was just way too much. It's come down a little bit, but it's making this market different and new.
I kind of have like a white hot theory, and once you start to see a category in every booth, it's white hot, and that's a bad sign. That means it's kind of the beginning of the end. But I do feel like with all these new kids coming in, there's gonna be like this big pop and then a big fizzle. Like, I wonder how many people will be here in 2 years. And Brimfield is also kind of like a marathon, and not everyone knows how to run a marathon,
Okay, folks, I know a lot of you guys are wondering, if I want to go to Brimfield, how can I make it a success? Well, here's the top tips that I can give you. Tip number 1, and I think this is one of the most important, bring cash. Cash is king in Brimfield. Half these sellers don't even take card, and it serves you with a little bit of negotiating and wiggle room when it comes to getting that final deal done. Tip number 2, when planning to enter into one of the fields, get the tickets prior to entering into the premises. Don't get them before you go in, because you want to get there a little bit early. Keep in mind, you're gunning up against some of the biggest vintage resellers in the world. You got to do everything in in your power to try to be first when it comes to those booths opening. And tip number 3, this is most important. Do not be afraid to look ridiculous. If it means you getting those bucklebacks, if it means you getting that vintage sweat, fucking run for it. Because I can guarantee you, guys have traveled all the way across the globe to get those same pair of pants, that same sweater. If the difference is you giving it a light jog or even a sprint, you better get your ass ready to do it. Because at the end of the day, the early bird takes the worm. And you're only gonna get there first if you're willing to put your ego to the side. So this is the corral. Everyone's gonna be storming in behind me because in terms of vintage, this is one of the most sought after fields within all of Brimfield. So there's a ton of vintage resellers behind me from this entrance and the entrance over there. They're all gonna be storming in like a few minutes, 30 minutes. The line's already pretty long, so let's watch the Stampede. So there was a mad dash to your space as soon as the Brimfield gates opened because people wanted either one of 2 items. And I want you to tell us about both the Afterhoods that you have here. Talk to us about history on them, where you found them, what are some of the numbers that have been going around on them. And we'd love to hear everything. Go for it.
Okay, well, I got this one from someone on Instagram who actually found it at the bins. He found it in Colorado and it's actually 4 tones. So like the white, then you have the orange, and then you have the blue. And then you have, if you want to look on the inside, you have the gray.
Oh, wow.
The Lowe's and Campbell tag, it's a good tag, especially that it's still here.
Incredible, yeah.
I offered 8 on it, and now I'm asking 20 for it. Realistically, I mean, maybe I'd take an offer on it, but it's just not the best place to negotiate an item for this much money. Even if someone buys this for 20,000, someone could come along and pay like 30,000 for it. It's almost a gamble at that point.
Yeah.
Like, it's worth what someone's willing to pay. And there's some really rich people with a lot of money who love to buy vintage clothing, and I don't see it going anytime like down. Like, it will only go up. I took down some phone numbers and some Instagrams, and we'll see.
Tip number 4, folks. You are never too cool for sunscreen. You can't get steals if you're dead. Spray up, put that sunscreen on. It's gonna keep you nice, healthy. It's gonna keep that skin cancer-free. We are at Brimfield with
Matthew.
Matthew, nice to meet you, sir.
Pleasure.
And I must say, you're looking incredibly dapper. I think you've been one of, if not the best dressed folks out here at Brimfield over the last few days.
Oh, you should see a little Buster Brown, little blonde fella, makes me smile, get a stupid grin on your face, and usually I find something great after I see him. He's a good luck charm, that's what he is.
I saw him as well, and he was an incredible good kid. It's good to see someone from a younger generation here at Brimfield that's willing to dress up nice and do a little bit of shopping. Could you tell us about how Brimfield's been for you thus far?
Well, let's see. Yesterday was extremely successful up until around 7 p.m. when I was walking home from the seafood place back to the hotel, and long story short, I was incarcerated for 6 hours, neither here nor there. Other than that, it's been an entirely successful trip.
Would you care to go into a little bit more depth? That sounds crazy.
Oh, I was just pretty deep in the cups by that point, and when I was walking back to the hotel, I was felt the distinct need to relieve myself. I saw a big tree, a good wide one. Me being of the unimpressive width I am, I figure I had all my bases covered, see? But the wrong person saw me at the wrong time, and the gutless cocksucker reported me to the police.
Well, at least you recovered, and you managed to not only look great today,
being as I was inebriated at the time, I can just as well chalk it up as a bad dream.
You're 100% right. Could you talk to us a little bit more about what your experience, aside from the extracurricular activities, has been like at the Brimfield Antique Market?
Well, it's still as unpredictable as all hell. There are days when I'll find absolutely nothing, and there will be days when I find absolutely too much.
So I'm curious, what are you looking for when you shop at Brimfield?
And of course, I look for classic menswear, Southern Civil War memorabilia, pipes, estate pipes, tobacco advertising, taxidermy, things for the home tiki bar.
What do you attribute those interests to?
I must have been 7 or 8. I was school we had a swim program where elderly folk would teach us how to swim. We went to the local public pool, and his name was Arthur. When he regaled me with tales of his early years, it was the most charming thing I've ever heard.
That's incredible.
So I did a great deal of research into it, ranging from around the 16th century up until the very early 1950s.
And so it's manifested in this interest in collecting, and I think that's great. That's what makes...
The way I see it, 21st century has nothing to offer me. It's absolute hell. Every single second is hell. Hate every second I'm awake, so if I can just avoid the 21st century, just completely get it out of the picture entirely, I'm doing a good thing.
What about the modern age makes it unbearable to you?
Well, everybody's an idiot. You can't do nothing without getting, without somebody giving you a hard time. Fun is pretty much entirely illegal. There's no aeroplanes where you can smoke with the lingerie lunches. Ain't none of that anymore. There's an absolute lack of any sense in the general population. Just everybody's just crummy, walking around looking like freaks. I don't care for them one bit. Around these parts is pretty much one of the only places north of the Mason-Dixon you'll find any single person with any defining characteristics whatsoever. You have no idea how difficult it is to have an actual conversation around here. These people are no good. They're no good whatsoever.
There's an intentionality behind your words, and I think, you know, at who you are at your core that I really appreciate, and I think our audience will really appreciate as well. Is there a way for people to, would you ever want people to reach out to you? Or?
No, the internet's a bad place for bad people. They can all scram. Let me alone.
What do you guys think? The Yoko and the John Lennon?
I mean, if you got both that and the Yoko, I would do $850 for you.
This and the Yoko for $850?
Because you know you're not going to see one, at least for a long time.
Yeah. What's the biggest or best story of a come-up that you've ever had?
This one.
Really?
I got called for a couple pieces of weird art. And I show up, and there was a record executive's house. You walked in the front door, floor to ceiling living room, about 25,000 CDs stacked, with a little path that brought you to the library, a little path that brought you to the record room, and a little path that brought you to the kitchen. It was 15 acres on top of a mountain in the Catskill Mountains in New York. They had art stashed a mile away from the house in a cow pen, just wrapped in plastic, stashed in this barn, just because they had so much stuff. So I got 4,000 records out of there, about 400 pieces of 70s and 80s art, everything from Keith Haring, Andy Warhol, tons of just crazy valuable art. And then the records, the band shirts I pulled out of there were insane.
Wow.
That once in a lifetime pick.
Wow.
You know, and it literally, it all came from a Facebook marketplace.
Wow.
Art buy. I want more people doing this. You know, this is a dying world, you know, especially with them trying to kill cash, trying to go to digital currency. This is a dying world, you know? So I want people to be out here. I want people to be set up selling. I want people out there picking, you know? That's how you find the cool shit.
Now we're gonna pull off something a little bit risque, as they say. So we snaked some bootleg wristbands. We're gonna see whether or not we could pass through security at Brimfield's Heart of the Mart field early. I don't think it opens up till around 9 or 10. It's 6 a.m. right now. So we're gonna see if it works out. Let's go.
Perfect, thank you.
All right, we made it happen, folks. Took a little bit of the cartoony head scratch when I was walking in, but we made it work. We're in. Mission success. The hard part is done. We got in. Now let's just try to find some stuff. We got time now. That's the biggest thing. A lot of folks come out here, they come in with the general masses, and you feel so rushed to just come in and buy whatever you can put your hands on. Now we're here a few hours earlier. Let's check out some of the sellers and see what we get. So we just left one of the tents inside the field and got into a bit of a hairy situation. So one of the older ladies noticed our videographer filming and proceeded to tell him to stop filming, delete all of his footage, and she went so far as to tell each seller in the tent, there's probably around 20, that our videographer was filming. So on one hand, obviously disappointing because we'd love to be inside there filming with some of the sellers, but on the other hand, we do understand she's from an older generation. information. And in her defense as well, it is a commonly known practice amongst designer and heritage brands to go to some of these markets, go to some of these independent sellers without buying their items, filming it, getting some of the details, and then ripping it off. So it's a two-sided coin, and we're totally aware and familiar with it. And yeah, so we just got word that our homie, who we met out in New York, he's here. He's in this field. So we're gonna go see whether he's set up a little bit early so we could check out what he's got. This is where the real deals happen.
This is kind of an interesting souvenir jacket. So this is actually a 1957 Air Force judo team. The judo hit, kind of a dope two-tone with the cotton pocket trim. It's got the cool Empire tag. In the back, Portsmouth Air Force Base judo team. My price was $650 on it. I have like a crazy grail jacket that I brought for one person only to see like today.
Really?
I'll show you guys if you wanted to take a look.
Yeah.
The infamous double wear apple jacket. This is a 1930s short coat from the company Double Wear, based out of Boston, Massachusetts. This one, which is interesting, has the apple print, AOP. And
the original AOP.
And what's interesting about this jacket, it was actually marketed for women, and it's the only printed short jacket that Double Wear ever made, to my knowledge. Clean as a whistle, for those who dare.
And what would it? Yeah, you don't need to tell us what you sold it for. What's market on it?
It's one of those pieces where you know they pop up rarely, and I'm looking for $4,500 on it.
We selected a few tees.
The comps on these days are like around 1,000. You know?
On this one?
Yeah. So the deal with this shirt is I want 1,200, and I've been offered 1,000. It's the original print on the Miller tag, extra large with the SST hit, a true XL on a 1984.
That's crazy. That's insane.
And you know, there's so many reprints, 90s reprints, there's SST licensed reprints, and then there's the original blue Miller tag.
Could I talk to my trusted compatriots? That Black Flag shirt is fucking crazy. So we're gonna go to Sam, we're gonna offer him $17.50 for the 3. Sam.
My friends.
So I've got some cash in my hand. I'm gonna put it in your hand. I want you to hold it. Your face should tell me whether this amount is okay. This is for all 3.
All 3, the jacket and the 2 shirts.
Yeah, I want you to smile when you get it. You want a marker too?
I'm getting somewhere. How much cash did I just count out?
$17.50, I hope, right?
Yes, $17.50.
We're
very close.
We're like there.
We're very
We're
close.
arguably there.
If we could get to go from $17.50 to $21.50, we got it.
Okay. Sam, and by the way, I'm just gonna preface what I'm about to say by saying final offer. We're gonna be here for one extra day. We don't mind walking away. 1,900, done, last offer.
I'm gonna say, let's fucking do it.
Let's go.
Thank you.
Done deal.
All right, Bidstitch, baby.
Yo, what's up?
Bidstitch gang.
London, welcome back to Brimfield.
What up?
How's it going?
We are with the homies here.
Right
the
here.
porters, the
Trifecta.
the best porters, the baddest porters.
From the east to the west, God bless.
Brimfield. Okay. A lot of our folks, especially out there in Cali, they don't know what a porter is. I want you guys to explain what it is that you guys do out here.
Everybody in SoCal, everybody in New York, this is Mays Field, and I'm gonna tell you the deal with 1, 2, 3. So, if you got the stuff, if you got the antiques, this is the street, right? And over here, they got the meat, the cheese, all that. But guess what, my dude? The portering scene, dreams can come true. Now, when I was a little baby porter, I always dreamed of looking at the sun and thinking, when is Tommy Guns gonna rep where he's coming from? From New York to Cali, east to the west, God bless. You know the rest. London, appreciate you coming out. Everybody out there in the interwebs, I'm telling you, Brimfield is the scene to be. If you got some money, if you got some time, you come out here and you get on the grind, right? See, the portering thing, there's no set price. It comes down to what we lifting, what we doing, and how we moving. So when we put it on the cart, we getting it all the way past Central Park. You dig what I'm saying? We'll take it here, we'll take it there, as long as the price is fair, right? I'm telling you, this is a fair show and it's a fair deal. And if you want to come to this field, Mays, you better be blessed every which way. Tell them.
So when it comes to the price range, when it comes to shows, really, When it comes to portering, I'm not even gonna lie to you. We make our money off pack-ins and pack-outs. I mean, this money is our extra money. This is just like, this is our extra per diem. When you see the U-Haul, when they ready to leave, that's where the bulk of our money come from. But this right here is for the love of the show. When you see the portering, it's for the love of the show. We're not trying to break your back for $100 to move it. We trying to save your back. You feel what I'm saying? So as porterers, all we do really is we bring your item from point A to point B. So let's just say you have a statue, you have a dresser, you have a painting. We bring that item or multiple items that you have to point A, point B. Then we price it by the item. You know what I mean? And that's how we get it, sock boys. But yeah, that's how we do it though.
The bordering shit is not for the weak of heart. It's more than a job. It's more than the physicality. You gotta wake up at 6, you gotta get in the mix. The husband and the wife, they're doing this, that, forget about it. I love it because I love the trees. I like getting out of New York City, Washington Heights, Dykeman, Dimelo, Uptown. In Brimfield, it's a different beast, all right? Like I said, when I started as a porter, I had a tent on the ground. Now I got a whole camper coming up now. Mama, what up?
You guys have any crazy stories?
Oh, God.
Oh, I had this one. Okay, look. We had this man here.
That man lost a finger. Let us know something.
Anything you want to say to the listeners?
Yeah, I did have one story. Well, a lady asked me to carry a table. This table, she said, don't drop it, don't scratch it. Put it up nice for her. As I'm walking to the car, I'm like, how much you pay for this table? She told me 10 bands. I'm thinking Hitler put his cup on it or something. That was famous. She said some famous artist just made it and whatnot, created it, and then sold it. She said she was going home to sell it for $100K. No cap.
I don't have interwebs, I got AOL. You know, Tom from MySpace, fuck out of here. Can't nobody beat me on the interwebs, all right? You gotta see this in real life, and you best not think twice, all right? You see this accurate in here. Look, it's accurate. We got bags, we got bags. That's what we talking about. It's accurate in here. You just throw it in there. This is light. I'm sock boys because it's light, but usually my sock be like that. I'm talking about grips. I'm talking about hips. I'm talking about getting the chips. A little Frito-Lays if you want to get paid. Oh, y'all ain't coming to the
party tomorrow.
Should I plug the party?
We're leaving today.
Oh, last year, fire dancing, Trail of Tears. I was rapping, getting in the mud. I was doing some very cool, very white DMX.
At the end of the day, we all work together. We all work together here. No one really tries to step on anybody's toes. If this is this man's job, that's that man's job. If he need my help, he gonna ask, yo, Nate, can you put a hand on this? I got you. And that's all it is. I mean, no one really out here trying to break anybody's back. Everybody just trying to switch money, and that's it. Get paid and go home, mind their business, and get good items as well, because it's all about the antiques. It's all about the antiquities and the retro and everything that's going on out here. So a shout out to the vendors, because we wouldn't be out here if it wasn't for the vendors. We need them to have a job, and I appreciate every single vendor out here, because I wouldn't be out here if we didn't have these certain people. You know what I mean? And I appreciate the owners of the field as well, because the owners of the field, that's who allows us to be here and allows us to get this money, and I appreciate them.
No cap, the Riz is crazy, okay? Because some of these dealers will pay you skibbity toilet, but I hit the gritty on these. So like, I'm not for show. We come every show 3 times a year. For like I said, from the East Coast, out west, everybody. If you want to come into this Brimfield, you better pass the test. Tell them, Des.
Yep, pass the test.
Grades are up. No failing grades. And I like a B or a C back in the days. When I get a merch, I put it right on this cart. I'll take it there, I'll take it wherever. But they better keep up. Watch, I'll get one right now in front of you, internet world, and you're gonna see. Let me catch a play real quick. Oh, statue. Catch a play. Get him. This is an angel of the blessing, and she's good luck too. So what we do is we take care, we put the rope over it, nothing gets hurt, nobody, and then we gotta go. See you later, internet world.
Hey, while you're holding that, tell us how your experience has been at Brimfield.
Experience at Brimfield is always absolutely fantastic.
That's rad.
Greatest place in the world. As soon as I took him out of the sun, this is what he did for like a half hour. I was walking him around showing him to everybody.
What's Brimfield mean to you?
Family.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Why you say that?
As a dealer, you end up in a place and a lot of people around you that you would never have thought are your family become your family.
Yeah.
Like I've got 70, 80-year-old friends that I consider some of my best friends in the world now.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I've been in the same field here for 9 years.
Wow.
Every May and September, and I mean, it's just awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we like lose somebody and it's like you lose your family.
Yeah, I've actually, it's sort of sad. Like I hear a lot of the vendors and they kind of see each other. You can tell they don't see each other too often. They're like, oh, did you hear what happened to what's his name? And it's like, ah, yeah.
It's like 2-3 times a year, but like then when you see each other, it's like, it's always the biggest hug. It's like, it's great.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And I gotta show her because she hasn't seen it yet. See my friend?
We just finished up at Brimfield, guys, and it was a really incredible experience. I think I was surprised and overwhelmed at points by the warmth that the Brimfield community showed. What makes this place so special to me is this great mixture of old and new, seasoned and rookie. It was a really incredible time, and one thing that kind of made this that sort of distinguished this market from other markets around the country, aside from just its size, is the warmth shown by a lot of folks, and a lot of these older folks in particular, really embracing this new generation of vintage resellers and the new clothing that they're bringing and the new fashion that they're bringing and the new taste that they have. And as a whole, going to a place like Brimfield really shows what makes vintage so special. And I think that what makes vintage so special is the fact that it unifies everybody behind a common interest, which is an interest in the past. This was a really great time, and we're looking forward to coming to Brimfield again. Brimfield, it was amazing. The Bidstitch team was welcomed with open arms. We love everyone that we had the chance to speak to, and now we are out. Peace.
Jansen mid-sweater.
1940s Jansen mid-sweater. What? What?
Knit.
Oh.
Not mid-sweater.
Include that as a blooper, Maddie. We want to give you guys a little haul, a little post-Brimfield pickup haul, showing you guys what we got and how much we paid on each. Tell us in the chat, did we get cooked or did we do some cooking? 1940s Jansen knit sweater, 100 bucks. 1950s flannel, $40. 1960s blank, 60 bucks. 1970s champion army shirt, 80 bucks. 1960s thrash Snoopy tee, 100 bucks. 80s Neil Young raglan, 20. Mudhoney shirt, $225. Green Day 1996 tour, $225. 90s BDSM shirt, 50 bucks. 90s Sanrio Hello Kitty shirt, 40 bucks. 1970s script label baby LL bean bag, 80 bucks. 1995 Grateful Dead tee, 700 bucks. 1986 Grateful Dead tee, $75. 1950s thermal lined hoodie, 500 bucks. 1950s varsity jacket, you need to calm down. I don't like it when you're fucking... It's really bad. Okay, fucking relax. It's like dementia. Okay, do you want to do it? I could do it. You could sub in for the second half if you want. 1950s Air Force judo team varsity jacket, 400 bucks. 1950s golfing novelty knit sweater, 200 bucks. 1950s novelty knit sweater, 300. Black pocket blank, 1970s, 50 bucks. 1970s dead stock display pair jeans, 20 bucks. Last but not least, Black Flag 1984 licensed to SST My War shirt, 800 bucks. Cool.